Welcome back to the channel, and I'm heading into the woods at the wrong time of day. I've just finished painting, which you would have seen in the opening shots, and I've done things with the family. I'm here to check on the bushcraft shelter, but I do have a brew kit with me. But I've explained that this is a dry camp. It's dry because there are no water sources, without going to the puddles you've seen, because it's raining now. Without filtering water from that kind of means, it's dry. There is a big river nearby, and I'm going to go and scout that out and see if it's viable for me to bring containers to bring water up from the river. But it's going to be touch and go, because I would have think the distance is pretty much even Stevens from me walking in to walking to the river. So I'm just going to check it out and see if it is more viable for me to get water from the river than hump it in through the tracks and trails that I've just walked. I did find a vintage dung spreader, or what's left of it, so I presume these were at some point agricultural fields before these trees were took over. And I'm reckoning these trees are sort of like 40-50 year old in that part. So yeah, there's not a lot left of that dung spreader. Well, it's still in one piece, and it's always a good sight when I see that, particularly when I've seen some fellow YouTubers having their camps and sort of like places where they bushcraft trashed. It is raining, light is fading, and we do have strong winds predicted to start arriving soon. So I don't want to be in here when the strong winds come, because there is a lot of trees that have gone over. So do I do a quick coffee here, or do I go on the search for this river? I always take a moment to look at it, just to appreciate the work that went into it. That's not me bigging myself up. It took a long time to get to this point. Right, it is absolutely hoofing down now. It really is beginning to hoof down. I'm going to have a very quick coffee. I've got enough water and coffee to do 2 brews. I always carry that. All I've brought in with me is what I call my walking satchel, or I'll do like a few hours hiking satchel. It's got my EDC kit. I'll let you have a look. Unfortunately, when it comes to EDC, I do everything lightweight. Right. Right, it really is hoofing down now, but a quick look at my EDC kit, which is a brew kit. I always bring a brew kit wherever I go. Mine's really simple: a head torch, a whistle, a pocket knife, I've got a lighter, and obviously my phone. Occasionally a map will go in here if I'm going off the beaten track a little bit more than usual, but I kind of know where I am here. I've done the recce. The only thing is, this woodland is new enough to me. If the mist really came down hard and heavy, I would have to stick to the main trackways. I don't want to do that for stealth reasons. I've explained that to you, and I'll go into that in more detail in other videos. But that's all I have for my EDC kit. Like I said, extremely simple: torch, lighter, whistle, small grandfather's pocket knife, and my phone, and a brew kit with some snacks and a couple coffees. I haven't brought waterproofs with me because I am not staying out long. We're only probably an hour before losing all light totally. I just want to see where this river is, how close, gauge the amount of effort that's required to get water from there compared to bringing it in, and you've just been hit by some water drops, so I think I need to clean the camera. Right, it's boiling now, so let's get this in. And I think it's going to be a stick for this one. It's beginning to boil over. This is an Irish kind of coffee, which tastes gorgeous. But what it does do, it leaves a lot of crap on the outside and on the inside of the cup. So you need a lot of water just to wash up after you've had your coffee. Right, I want to get in under the shelter. It's absolutely hoofing down. Right. Right, I'm going to drink this really quick, and then we've got to make a move and start to do this recce for this river. Quite simply, I don't have time. The weather isn't going to improve. This rain is obviously in front of the weather system, and like I said, it's going to be up to sort of like 26 mile an hour winds. That's pretty strong. It's strong enough to take some of these trees over anyway that aren't secured in the ground that well. So yeah, I want to get this recce done. It's one more tick in the box to know my location fully, and that's the sort of thing that you have to do once you establish a bushcraft camp. You have to move out into the wider area and know what resources you have around you. Right then guys, I've finished up. I'm basically breaking sort of like camp and moving on now. And I'm going to start heading through the forest, and I'm going to skirt the footpaths and the tracks to find this river. The river's at the bottom of a very steep valley. Naturally, you might argue, but some valleys are steeper than others, as any outdoor enthusiast will tell you. So yeah, I'm going to start getting on. Light is beginning to go, and this rain isn't going to let up. My DPM army jacket, it'll do fine for what I'm experiencing here. I could have brought waterproofs, but I knew I was going to be in and out of here, quicker than a rat up a drain pipe. But yeah, these old DPM army jackets, you have to go a long way to buy a civilian equivalent that will stand up to the rigours of outdoor life. They can be picked up quite cheap, incidentally. They're not fashionable. DPM is kind of considered uncool now, but because everybody's rocking all the other variants of even MTP, British MTP isn't really considered cool in the outdoor world anymore. It's all the new hunting and forest camo that's really sort of prevalent, particularly within the sporting communities and the civilian world. So you don't kind of look kind of cool in the old DPM, but it does its job. Right, I've hit just one problem trying to be stealthy and stick to the outside of the wood block, and I'll quickly show you. This is the wood block I've just come up, and it goes into virgin new growth, and you can't even squeeze a you couldn't squeeze a cat through the gaps in it. It's brand new woodland. I've been forced out onto the track. As you can see, there's an old wood block here that has a trackway. I've just been looking at the maps, just trying to see a quick way to get to, well, this valley where I go down to the river. I don't want to be hanging about too long on the tracks. I'm not making a big deal. You're probably wondering what is the big deal. This isn't this is a kind of a bit of a privately a commercial woodland, but it's a private commercial woodland. It's not held by one of the bigger corporations that do forestry. So they're probably not going to be quite as enthusiastic to see me, you know, enjoying myself in their woodland. So yeah, I've now got to shoot off in here because I don't want to be making too much progress on this road. Tempting, but let's give it a go. Now this is quite a vast forestry, and it has a number of well defined tracks, and then you get ones like this which shoot off and they don't look like they've seen a lot of activity. I think I'm fine to actually follow these just to help speed progress up, but this is one. If I follow this one, this will take me back to the woodblock my bushcraft shelter's in, but you can see you can't push through that. So I'm going to make my way down through here. You can see that I'm beginning to lose light already. Well, I followed this track so far down the hill, and it represents what I can see on a map, but I'm tempted to cut my own detail and go down the steeper parts of the bank, because this track zigzags all the way down through the valley. I'm guessing, by my just an educated guess, that I will intersect this track further down the slopes and cut off some time and distance. Either that, or I'm going to increase my journey time by having to come back up, because I've made a fool's errand of doing this. But all the while I'm stood here procrastinating whether should I do it or not, I'm losing light. I really don't know what to do. Right then guys, I am actually cutting my own detail now. I'm completely off track and I'm making my way down through this woodland. It is steep, it's like that. I do know the river is at the bottom of this valley. It's just that you don't want to hit a patch of woodland which is so dense. I'm bushwhacking with my bushwhacker and burning time. I really don't have that today, as you've probably got the idea of that I don't have the time because of light. I do have a torch, like I said, but you know, you don't want to find yourself stumbling around the woodlands if you can help it. You know, poor preparation and planning equals piss poor performance, as they say. So I probably should have given myself a little bit more time, but I'm going to keep heading downhill. Right, I'm just scrabbling down through this piece of woodblock, and you can see how steep it is. And if that doesn't look steep, I'll just show you how they've cut the track into the road. I don't want to slip. That's probably 20 feet down to the actual trackway. I'll hold on to this tree. Where I am now, and you can also see there's a lot of heavy mist coming in as well. But this is a massive drop off here. I can see deers have gone down over there, but I'll let you have a look when I get down the bottom. There you go, my friends, and this is the bank I've had to scrabble down. That is probably twice as high as I am, and it's pretty steep. It's been cut right into the woodland to get vehicles along it. But I'm also looking at what I'm facing here, and I tell you what, whew, this is going to be a bit of a mission. I don't know if it is worth sticking to the tracks, but I'm just going to walk up to the corner there and see if I can get a better eyes on to see where these tracks go down through the valley. Right, I'm actually on the trackways and I'm following them because it's actually got to the point It's that steep, you could almost toboggan on your ass down to the actual banks here. So I'm sticking to the paths at the moment. I've no reason to expect to see anybody, but I've already concluded I'm going to have to bring my own water into the camp. This river is in just too far and too difficult a location to source water from it. But I'm going to see if I can reach it. I may have to pull the plug because of light, but I'm going to see if I can hear it, but it's still a hell of a way away from me. Right, let's keep walking. Right, I've just come out of this wood block here, and that's my first view of the opposite side of the river. And I've just seen a weather report that these high winds, I have to read it properly, something about a tornado. So yeah, it might not be a good idea to be in here much longer, but hopefully if I continue down here, I might be able to at least see where I'm going. You can start to see the size of this woodland because over there in the distance where you got the mist coming up from the river, you can actually see that's probably about 2 miles away. It's 2 miles just in that direction wide. And in this direction and heading back, I know there's a several miles in that direction and several miles up over the top of me. So it's a big woodland, this one. Well, there's chestnuts here. There you go. Still in the case. Nature's bounty from that tree. Let's see if I can split one up. That one's been broke open. Something's been eating that one. Not the biggest ones. There you go. Right, I'm walking down these tracks. I'm zigzagging down the hillside, but I'm walking about sort of like 1/4 of a mile before I hit the next downhill bit of the track to zigzag. And there's a maze of them, and some that aren't represented on the actual map. I see a pheasant running off in the distance. But before I lost cell service, I did actually see for definite that there is a tornado warning covering the southwest. So I'm not going to spend too much time trying to get down to the river. Yeah, obviously this is concluded. I'm bringing my own water into the camp, but I had no idea. It looked big on a map, but once you get here on your foot and you know you're on the ground, you realise how big this forest is and how difficult. But I'm just about to walk into this fog and mist bank. So yeah, I'm continually walking. I'm not lost. I have an idea or a clue where I am, but yeah, with a tornado or impending strong winds, I don't want to be in here. Because look at these boys here. They're absolutely massive. It's getting to the point you can't even see into the wood blocks and wood stands. There is actually mist and it's starting to get a little bit dim. So I'm definitely not going to be stumbling around in there. You can just see the river in the centre of the screen there. It's miles away. Miles and miles. I wasn't getting down to that tonight. You can see those fog banks beginning to develop inside the woodland itself. And look, you can actually watch it move. It's starting to rise up out of the woods. And you can actually see it twisting and turning. Almost like it's following me. But I do need to make a move. It's starting to get dark in here now. And this is the reason you don't want to be in woods when it's high winds. Look at this tree. It's a monster. And it's gone over. and it's hung up in the other one. But that is about 1.5 meters round there. It's absolutely humongous. Right, I've got to push up through here, do a bit of bushwhacking now. Well, I've just stumbled across this guy. And tell me that I'm not seeing things. That does actually look like a skeleton. You can see its 2 eyes, nose and mouth. It's a skull, I mean. What you come across in the woods, miles from anywhere. Yeah. Right, let's get back to the bushcraft shelter, see if I've got enough time for a coffee. Now, whenever there's talk of tornadoes or bad weather to that extent and that kind of language is used, people of my generation and beyond remember the Michael Fish scenario. I think he was asked, I've seen the footage or clips, you can find it on YouTube probably, where a lady like wrote into him or phoned into him and said, I've heard that we've got a tornado coming, is this true? And he casually brushed it off and said, no, we might have strong winds type of thing, but it's not going to be a tornado. Lo and behold, it turned into one of the biggest natural disasters we've had for a long time. Trees went over, houses were destroyed. It was total mayhem and carnage. So when anybody says things like tornadoes, most of us kind of like raise an eyebrow. But you know, when you're at my kind of age, you can still remember that that comical side of things where Michael Fish, the weatherman, said, no, but boy, didn't we get bloody hammered that particular night. I'm actually walking along this very lightly used track. It's not a main one. And I'm walking into a sunset from what it looks like here. The trees are hiding most of it, but it's gone totally still, not a breath of wind. And ironically, that's quite often the way it is before you get strong winds. So if I'm going to have a coffee at that bushcraft shelter, I need to start making a bit of a wiggle on to make it happen. I'm running out of time. Well then guys, the forest has beaten me. It's taken me too long to get back here, and I've still got a long way to walk to the car, and I've still got a fair way to go into the bushcraft shelter. So I'm at that junction. By the time I got to the bushcraft shelter, it would be pitch black, and if I was there doing an overnighter, I'd be into the evening routine well before now. So the best I can do is make my way out of this woodland, get comfortable tonight, and wait these impending winds that are due to come and hit us down here in the southwest in Cornwall and Devon, Somerset and Dorset. So yeah, I'm gonna make my way out of here. Yeah, I feel a bit deflated. The forest beat me. That was hard going, hard terrain. Yeah, I wasn't prepared for that. I thought I could breeze it. But it did teach me one thing. What it taught me was it's a damn sight easier to bring my own water in. In fact, that is a non-starter. You would not even consider that. So, yeah, all that's left to be said is take care, stay safe, and I hope to catch you guys on the trail. So, I'm going to make my way out of here. Ugh.